So you saw this structure the other day, right? So whenever you're watching a movie, if a person used this structure, you should go to your cell phone notes. You should go to your any kind of management software, or even a notebook, a physical notebook that you keep with you, and start keeping these examples in a list. That's going to help you recognize all the new stuff that you are checking with me, so you can later use it by yourself. Because the problem with these new topics, especially when you're talking about upper intermediate, is that students forget it. After we saw these topics, people forget all of them, no exception. They really they just don't remember anything we see in class. So we have been seeing, for example, in previous classes, we saw inversion, for example. We saw no, this is not the expressions we saw. Synonyms, etymologies. Here we saw the perfect modals, would have, and we saw the rest. Ought to have, could have, can't have, right? We saw the inversion when the negative adverbial was the opposite in English, and we said, not until he arrived, only then did I understand. Or the conditional that we studied the other day, had I been. After we saw this topic, when did we use it? Do you?
Yes, no, it's not covered because if you didn't take notes, you usually work with the structure that you knew.
Totally.
So
you come back.
So in my case, yes, I come back. So I remember when you mentioned it again. For example, in this particular case of the conditionals, I remember the American history video, and what was he saying? The historian that the actor modified the history and the movie.
Yeah, and just when you see the video, you remember the class, but then you finish the class and it's like, okay, I finished my practice and I'm never gonna use this again. That's precisely the issue with this particular level, especially when we're talking about upper intermediate and advanced. These structures, all these very useful stuff, people forget it, and the students really never use it again. So the best way to keep a log, we should start taking like a little a little note on the topics that you need to recognize out from class, in movies, in podcasts, in content in English, YouTube videos. Before you arrived, I was watching a YouTube video in English, and yes, I recognize some of the structures that we have been checking. So And you know, it's not science. You know, I was checking Transformers, and a couple of YouTubers that have a, what's the name, a podcast of movies. So I'm not checking grammar things. I'm checking normal people speaking normal stuff in English.
That video is about the first Transformers series.
The first Transformers movie.
Yes.
When Optimus dies.
I love that series.
Yeah, the original series
The
was
original one.
was historic. Exactly. That's what they're saying. Actually, at the beginning, they're speaking about the series, and then they start talking about the movie. And meanwhile, I am listening stuff that I enjoy. I start recognizing all these structures. So let's do something. You are going to start keeping. Do you have an iPhone? No, right? Yes, you don't have an iPhone. You don't like it. So then let's go through Notion. We're going to keep on Notion over here. We're going to keep a new database. Table view, and this is going to be Luis Roberto's log. And in this site, you are going to start writing examples that you find about, let's say, inversion. When you see conditional inversion. So when you hear a person saying condition number one was, should I, condition number one, should plus person plus verb. Conditional two, had plus person plus verb in past participle. In conditional three, am I right? I don't remember if I'm correct. Let's check. The third condition is had we, had plus person, and then the verb in past participle. And the second conditional is where, where plus person plus person plus simple verb. So you should The idea here is type in the expressions you hear out there that use the following structures. So whenever you have you recognize one topic that we have seen, you go into your log and you start typing this information. We can talk about usual conditionals, you know? Conditionals as we have seen it as always. Perfect models. Which is would have, could have, should have, etc. Negative inversion. Negative inversion is when you hear this. Not only, never before, under no circumstances, on no account, hardly ever. You know, taking this into consideration. And in this moment, causatives. What is this? Delegating tasks. You know what I'm talking about in this case?
Positives, I don't think so. Maybe that's an example. My memory works.
Delegating tasks.
No.
Do you cut your hair or do you have another person cut it for you?
No, I don't remember that topic.
Come on, this is exactly what we're checking in this moment.
Okay, yeah, with
Right?
Okay, yes,
Okay.
right. Yes, you are waiting.
Yes, because that's
Yeah,
exactly what I
right.
am talking about. That people forget about this. Like for
Yes, in the example that we covered is the arrangement, right?
yeah,
Of the meat.
exactly. We talked about arrangement. We talked about well the assistant, no, the assistant having the examples done. Whenever you hear an example like this, you should type it in. Right? So I am going to give you access to this. I'm going to allow editing, allow comments, and close this. And I'm going to send it to you via WhatsApp. Open it and let me know if you can edit. Are you opening it?
Let me check. Um, here. But where are you able to add notes in the text column? No.
I think no, no, no. Put your. Are you opening this on your phone or on the computer?
No, in my phone.
Okay, so touch the title, and you will see a little button that says abrir or open. But on the phone, let me check.
Oh no, maybe so. Maybe the only way is in a computer, right?
No, you should be able to edit. What I am afraid is that they are going to, yeah, they will ask you to create an account. Nah, forget it. You can create an account. I mean, I think this is really useful. But if you don't want to, you can take these notes and use it in your, you know, in your normal note taking app and do it by yourself. I mean, I use this software to edit it with my students and my coworkers. But in this case, you will need to open a new account and to make a whole mess. So if that's too complicated for you, just keep a note in your phone about this and share it to me.
Okay. Okay. No, I think the links is very useful as a uh, as pocket note. I think.
Exactly. It is super useful. I'm gonna like keep the link if you want. I'm gonna give you give you the link as an access so you can remember the topics and then precisely verify with these pocket notes if the structures that you listen match. So you start getting your luck.
Yeah, I think that's an issue because um, when you are attending the class, I think uh, for some people it's difficult to taking being oh no sorry to take notes
Mm-hmm.
and paying attention at the same time. So, for example, in my case, if I'm taking notes, I get lost. Uh, or
Mm-hmm.
if I'm paying attention, I didn't take notes during the class. So it's a problem.
Well, now we need to get some habits about that because uh, when I am watching a movie, I stop the movie to take a note.
Yes, yes. In the case of a movie, that's easy, but if you are in the middle of a class, you cannot stop it.
Of course,
Oh,
you cannot. You cannot, but I can give you time. If you tell me, hey, I need to take a note on this, I can wait. I
yes,
mean,
yeah, that's an option. Or the other one is watching the repetition, stopping the recording.
that can be if you have time. The difficult part here is that is getting time to do that. What I strongly recommend is like no, like use the class, the time of the class, the most efficiently possible to understand a new topic and to create to open the a curiosity window. It's like, okay, the teacher is saying that these American people use these expressions. I have not noticed that, but the teacher is saying that. Then tonight, when I open Spotify or when I open Netflix, when I open my movies, don't watch it in Spanish. That's the first mistake. Don't watch it in Spanish. Start watching it in English. And at some point, check if the person is using the structure. So you need to start verifying. It's like, okay, it's not that I don't believe you, the teacher, no, but I'm going to verify everything that you are telling me in movies. Like use movies to verify everything that I am telling you, like as a second resource. Because if you only use the class, you are only going to remember the examples I give you in the class. You will never remember other examples. Like what you said, I show you the video and you're like, okay, I remember the story. Yes, but you didn't remember the structure. The important thing was the structure, not the story. Do you get it?
Yes, yes, I got it.
Right? So it's like, for me, I really prefer. Some teachers prefer, as you as a teacher. I don't know if you like when the students verify everything that you say. Do you like that or do you disagree with that?
No, I think I like it. I like it because it had happened that sometimes I omitted certain information,
Uh-huh.
or I mentioned it in a wrong way, and
Okay.
they say me, oh, I was watching, I was looking, sorry, I was looking for this information, and I saw this. It's,
Yeah.
yes, come on, sorry, yes, that don't happen, that don't occur in this scenario.
Doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. It gives you a very nice feedback to check your explanations if they are actually reaching the students or they are just not understanding. And from the beginning, I have not really felt that the topics are really catching up with you. Like that you are really absorbing everything that we are getting because your only reference is the class. You need a second reference. You need other input, either movies, podcasts, the radio in English, people speaking in other from other sources, documentaries. You like documentaries a lot. When do they use it? But you watch them in Spanish, right?
Yes, in the majority of the time it's in Spanish.
Most of the times.
Most of the time, okay. Most of the time it's in, in Spanish, but the other one is in the other one is in English, but with subtitles.
That's even better. Subtitles in Spanish or in English?
No, in English with English subtitles.
Okay, so that's actually really helpful. You can use those subtitles as a way to recognize the structures that you are using. If you see a connector to, if you see a verb in past participle after the person Or no, if you detect the verb have that is not the auxiliary and that is not the verb of possession, you will check the structure and you say, ah, okay, that's the structure that we were checking in the morning, and start taking a note. Stop the video, complete your log, and continue your movie. It doesn't take you more than 5 seconds. But definitely, you need to start absorbing all the content in your language, in English, in your target language. Like at this point, it should be prohibitive to watch things in Spanish. Totally, totally, totally.
Yes, and this happen with me frequently. Uh, because I read more than I see documentaries or movies.
Mhm.
Most of my time is reviewing uh, books in English or papers. No? So
Okay.
when I am reading, many times I find expressions or structures or words that I I have I have not seen before. So
Right.
I by the context, my first step is not looking for them in the dictionary or in
Mhm.
Google. So I try to understand what they mean uh, using the context.
Right.
So I understand the word or the expression, and I say, ah, okay, and I see how the author used used them,
Mhm.
and I try to make another example. Okay, I could use in the future. No?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I remember it and I use it, but I think in many other cases I forget it.
That's very common, and not only you. Not only you. It's a very natural thing of the brain to do if we are not using the the objectives that you see. If you see something once, it's never gonna stick in your mind. It's I read a paper when where they say that a person remembers a word after the 10th time they have heard it. 10 times. The same with structures. It's exactly the same. It's like you're gonna start using it and gonna start actually applying the structure after the 10th time you have heard the structure. So the log precisely helps you get conscious about how many times you see every structure. And you will see that after the number 10, you start using it and you start remembering.
So maybe how could I say it? An strategy for practicing new words or new structure is uh, making by yourself 10 example of 12 examples
Uh-huh.
with different contexts.
But not making them. It's first recognizing the structures on other people, native people. After you recognize them 10 times, naturally you can make it by yourself.
Okay, so it's not related precisely with uh, writing by yourself 10 examples. So the best option is looking for maybe 15 examples in the internet or in different contexts,
Totally. Exactly.
review the context, viewing the videos, and then your mind will be able to remember them.
Exactly. And forget about the topics. Like you will not. It's easier to learn structures this way instead of learning the grammar names. The grammar names are not useful for anything. It just grammar names are for the English teachers. They need grammar. But a person who wants to speak don't need grammar. They only need to have a conscious recognition of the sequences of words that people use, and that's it. So it's not even about creating the language, it's about absorbing the language so you can create it.
Yes. For example, I think in recent times,
Recent.
recent in recent times, I saw uh, an advertising uh, in Google, no, in Facebook, sorry,
Okay.
for a, a promo, a vendor, yeah, or I don't remember a company, I don't remember about grammar books. So, como, we have this promotion, this grammar for these levels, just for today in this price or something like this.
Ah, yes.
Uh,
It was an advertising. Or
yes, but I noticed that these grammars that they were offering me uh, were about uh, be advanced levels, right?
mm,
And I thought it could be a good option to have a book for for, for these topics. I didn't buy them, but I was thinking all this day about
the books.
about the books, and
Yes.
and I was asking me which could be an option as I see one grammar, an advanced grammar. Uh,
I know. Yeah. Yeah. The first thing we get or we confuse learning English and learning English grammar. They are two very different things. Why do you want to learn English? To speak it or to teach it? If you want to teach it, buy a grammar book. That's gonna help you organize all the information that you have in your mind with names. But if you want to speak it, you don't need a grammar book. You will need to precisely open your ears to speak with other people. That's precisely what you need to do. So good thing you didn't buy them. I mean, it was a waste of money, a total waste of money. What you need to do is precisely take notes of all the structures that you have seen that for you were completely new and very totally strange. And then start recognizing the structures on native people. That's the way you are going to learn it. That's the way I did it. I didn't, my objective was not to teach English. My objective was to, well, I am a little obsessive compulsive, so I started learning grammar. But that was my compulsion. I don't recommend to do that because I know that this comes from my compulsion obsession, you know? So that's a personal view. I started learning grammar just because I was obsessed with the topic. If you like to learn grammar, I recommend some of them, and I really enjoy learning grammar. You know, but grammar is not useful if we translate everything we speak. If our mind is still working in Spanish, that's the biggest issue with learning grammar first. That our mind is actually working in Spanish, and we are trying to learn English grammar, and nothing connects. You are in the same level forever and ever. That's something that we want to avoid, no?
Okay, so when you learn grammar directly from the books, you're saying that the first process your mind does is uh, translating these topics to the or looking for an Spanish equivalent.
Exactly, as you say, as you do every time. Like we get a new structure, and we start thinking, how do we say this in Spanish? Like, yeah, that's not useful. That's precisely the problem, that we are finding the Spanish equivalent, and we are omitting the whole objective of this.
Yeah, so maybe there are times in which you can find an Spanish equivalent, other in which you can find, sorry, uh near equivalent, but I think there are many times in which you won't be able to find them because
Or
it's a
or
different language.
or even when there is an equivalent, the equivalent is going to be very different. Structurally, is going to be very different. So it's going to be
uh,
a distraction. The equivalent is going to be a distraction to really learn the new the new structure.
yeah, yes, that's other possibility.
Yeah,
You
because
have another.
sorry.
No, no, no.
I mean, the languages are equivalencies. That's the thing. We have something that doesn't exist in my language exists in other language, but there's a way to say it. You know, it's not that it doesn't exist. That's it. No, there are equivalents. The problem is that we focus so much in the equivalent that it becomes a distraction from the real important thing. The real important thing is to learn to use the structures that native people use. That's the important thing. Who cares about equivalencies? We know that we speak Spanish. You know, that's natural with us, and that's not necessary to learn another language. So we need to get closer to the other culture, and the way is actively listening to other people. I think this is the way. The active listening is about understanding all the topics that we check in class outside. And this automatically gives you a different level of English and a different view. So yeah.
Yes, yes, because I think it's when you uh I what is the verb uh, forced to
Mm-hmm.
force you.
Mm-hmm.
When you are forced to uh I don't know how can I express it. Um, I think the best way is forced is to force you using English. and don't use Spanish as a tool. For
And
example,
not to
if you
use.
not not to use Spanish as a tool,
Mhm.
because for example, if you were English in a completely English environment, for example, in the United States or in another country, uh, maybe here with you, when you are with a teacher and the teacher speaks Spanish, you have a doubt about an expression or a word, and you try to express your question or your doubt in English. But if not clear for the teacher, you say your mind's say immediately, okay, your teacher or you are not being able to explain your question.
And you
Okay,
start
your
theorizes.
teacher is speaking Spanish, no? Okay,
Mhm,
say it
mhm,
directly in Spanish and that's it, no? Okay,
mhm.
but if you were in an English environment, you won't be able to do this.
You cannot do that. Exactly. Well, how would you do it?
And so
The person in front of you doesn't speak Spanish.
the only way is that's your problem. The only way is trying to use your vocabulary in an efficient way for uh, for being understood by the other
Mhm,
by the other person.
mhm, mhm.
So I think this is
Rearrange.
the best option. Uh,
Exactly.
and you need to rearrange your vocabulary, your structure, or looking for similar items or whatever,
Right.
until the other yeah, the other person understands
What you're trying to say.
what you are trying to say. So I think that's the better option. Even if your teacher speaks Spanish, try to be in or try to generate a situation in which you
Mhm.
have a question and the other person doesn't speak Spanish, and try to under to explain.
Precisely. Uh-huh. Imagine after the 10 times you understood that structure, you probably, the reason the person didn't understand you, the American person didn't understand you, was because you were using another structure. Probably what happens with the structures is that it's an easier way to say other things sometimes. That would be our language overcomplicates some things in English. It makes it more difficult to communicate because Spanish is wider and is bigger. English is more concise. So structures actually help you speak with more precise, uh, with more precise words and more precise communication. It becomes easier to speak with American people if you dominate new structures. And that's something that we don't take into consideration. These structures is not only it's not only memorizing a sequence. It's about speaking more efficiently with American people or with native people. You mentioned something very important. You said efficiency. The important thing is efficiency. Well, structures make you an efficient speaker.
Yeah, because a structure is something that they use
Naturally.
commonly or a daily way, as we use in Spanish, no? We
Right.
don't many times maybe we don't remember or maybe even we have never knew the name for this particular structure, but we use them because we learned them naturally when we were a kid, when we were a children.
when we were young.
So I think the same happens with English speakers. So
Totally.
if you don't structure your message accordingly, it would be difficult for
Precisely.
understand for them.
That's the reason. That's the reason we are talking about this. It's uh all these structures that I'm trying to teach you is all conversational. It's something that a speaker must pay attention when they are in a certain level. It's all conversational. It's not about grammar. It's not about learning the names of structures. It's not about the the technical part of the language. It's about the conversational part of the language. That's the usage of this. Because I want you to speak, not to learn grammar. That doesn't work.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Unless you want to teach and become a nutshell teacher, no? If you want to, okay, welcome. I can teach you grammar. you know,
Yeah, no, but
I
the
can
first.
I can I can use a teacher on Saturdays. so no,
Thanks.
you have a lot to do on Saturday.
I think that even teaching Spanish for me in a foreign country, I think that could be an activity that I have never done. That I have no.
You would like to do.
Ah, I wouldn't like to do.
You wouldn't, or you would.
Oh no, I think I wouldn't like to.
Ah, okay, 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 okay.
I think I don't know if I would be patient.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
because it's my native language, so I think I would say, come on, guys, this is very obvious, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But you are not understanding.
Yeah,
But
some.
yes, it's
Mhm.
obvious because I am native now.
Exactly. It's obvious for you because you have grown with it since you were a baby, but they are completely they are literally. It's like when I am with speakers, yeah, with new speakers like beginners, they are literally pre-scholar speakers. They have no experience with the language. So just imagine you need to teach them every single word that they discover is new for them. Every single word that you pronounce is new for them. So you need to establish a sequence of words that they understand because again, the same theory. After the 10th time you listen a word, you start understanding the word. So I need to implement 20 words that I repeat 10 times. So then I go with the next 20 words that I repeat 10 times. The next 20 words that I repeat 10 times. And after that, I can create a conversation.
In what
Be-
situation happened this? Sorry.
beginners.
Beginners. Okay.
Beginners like zero level.
No, I think that with beginners could be difficult, but I don't know. I think that I don't know if this is precisely what happened when you are a teacher, an English teacher. But I I think maybe it is more difficult with advanced or teaching something new for advanced students because I think when you have an advanced student, this student feel, what is the word?
Feels
Feel confident? No, feel
feels.
f- no, no. That the advanced student uh,
You're
feel
right. You're right. Feels confident, but if you say
feel.
feels because it's he she it.
Ah, yeah, yes. Sorry, feels confident or feels comfortable.
Mhm.
Uh, with the structures or with the words that he knows, because he thinks or she thinks, uh, it this structure or this word uh, have been working for me and people understand me with these words, so
Right.
that's enough, no? And
Mhm.
yes, we are looking or we are learning new structures and are interesting, but with the knowledge that I have, is
It's
it has
enough.
been sufficient,
Mhm. Enough.
and enough. So you have certain resistance to to absorb new knowledge.
Exactly.
And in the
That's
case of the
exactly the problem.
beginners, all the words, all the topics are completely new, and they are enthusiastic learning the new language. So every word or every topic, every structure that you mention is absorbed by the beginner. No? Yes, with
Yep.
more examples, but they do this.
They are more enthusiastic about starting a new challenge,
Aha,
and that doesn't happen in advanced. That's why like in my case the difficult part has been looking for a strategy to make advanced students uh, motivated again about the language because they have lost it. They lost it at some point, and they enter the class trying to to see easy words or easy structures or yeah, there is a resistance as you say. So the love, my answer is the love to that. That's the only way I have been finding like a couple of things because I can tell you every time I have repeated every single time watch movies in English, listen to podcasts, but people never use it. People never actually do it. So the best way is okay. Let's do it as a task. Let's do it as a mission. Let's do it as a as a task to complete every day. Show me progress in your life. What expressions have you found during the day? Because we have English everywhere, and we watch videos and movies and a lot of content every day. So, which ones have you found?
yes, yes, looking for this example, and I think the other part is not losing or not yeah, now losing focus on the I don't know if basic is a word, or elementary or previous structures, because even when you are an advanced student, you don't notice that you are not structuring correctly.
Yeah,
For example, comparison,
yeah.
or I don't know.
Comparisons with like
For
the
example,
ER and the EST is like Jesus, is like the like we cannot be like getting causatives and these type of structures if we still say or confuse the difference between bigger and big. Come on, it's like come on, that's basic. What's going on with that? No.
yeah, so in the speed of speaking fast or
Mhm.
faster.
Exactly, fast and faster is like bro, like that shouldn't be a problem by this moment. Like we are very, 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 very delayed on that.
Yeah, so you when you listen that words, those words, you say, ah, yes, and for example, you have your mom near, and for example, your mom doesn't speak English, you are able to explain her.
Mhm, mhm.
But it's really really weird that when you are speaking, and especially if you are speaking fast, you you make mistake with these words,
That's why it's important to keep a log.
and you
If you
say,
have if you
come
have
on.
problems with the structures, comparatives, and pasts, then every time you hear a person listening speaking about comparatives and in past, write take a note on the examples that you hear. Why is the person using the past in this case? Why is the person using the auxiliary had? Why is the person using the auxiliary have? Why? Why? The reason they are using these structures. That's gonna help you. The why will help you use it in the future. But if you don't understand the why, you will never catch it. It doesn't matter how much grammar, and you can know the grammar, eh? You will be expert on formulas, but not in reasons why people use it. That the only way is observation. That's why it's so important, so important to catch it. And that's why grammar is useless in this case, because I know you know the structures.
Yes, yes, when you uh, show the slide in the screen, uh, I think we as a student say, ah, yes, ah, okay,
Mhm.
yes, that was the formula. Ah, okay, yes, I
Mhm.
remember. But I think immediately you say, okay, well, if I can recognize the formula, why I did that mistake is it shouldn't be happen.
Right. Then we don't connect with the formula. It's like
Uh,
why?
uh,
What happened there? That's precisely the issue.
why was not a connection in my mind in that moment?
Mhm. And it's not that it's not a connection, it's that we are visual beings, we are so distracted with the visuals, we are distracted with the Spanish equivalents, we are doing everything in all ways possible except the one that we should be doing, catching words from American people. That's the whole thing.
Yes, yes, I think the problem is precisely that it's not about there was not a connection in your mind, is that you got this uh, distracted
Distracted,
with Spanish.
precisely. Mhm. So that's gonna be your mission. Start taking a log.
Yes, and I
Start your
even
log.
bought a little pocket notebook.
Oh, great.
Yes, because I think that even it's a good idea taking notes in your cell phone, because you have always your cell phone near.
Yeah,
But
I do it every time.
I think that when you do certain activities manually, your mind works different.
Okay.
No,
I repeat, if you have a notebook with you, that's also good, but do it. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter if it's cell phone or a task or a book or whatever, but do it. You know, that's precisely the thing.
I had a manager in one job that he said uh, it doesn't matter if you take notes in a notebook, in the computer notepad,
Mhm.
or in the breath bag,
With a
or
napkin,
in the or bathroom paper. What is the name?
toilet paper.
but make it.
Exactly. Like no, but everybody has an opinion on notes. But okay, where are your notes? You know,
Yes,
it's like let me see your notes. You know, like I don't care where you do it.
and I think many people even buy
Notebooks anymore.
expensive notebooks of what is it? What is the material? The material name? Leather
Leather. Ah, yes. Very
with leather
expensive,
covers.
but they are empty.
But I
Totally
have
empty.
not empties. What is
Come
happening?
on, exactly.
You don't have any notes here.
Exactly. Why did you buy this?
Uh-huh. And an expensive pen, no?
Yes, yes, totally. For using the phone, it's like, come on. That's the thing that we need to do. We need to put in use all the things that you are checking right now.
Okay.
Put in use like this is your expensive pen, all the notes, and I'm trying to concise all the information that exists in the language in lessons. Just imagine. So you have everything ready for you in front of you. You just need to start
Yeah.
using it
Using and looking for more examples
and looking for more examples, as you say.
and I think this is more important because if my memory works correctly, I think this level is near to be finished, right?
Well, near, but we have not seen most of the topics that I want to teach you because we have been
Ah, yes.
very, yeah, like there's so many things that we still need to check, and I haven't been able to do it because like we are very intermittent. I want to check if having Chucho here, we can see the topics all together in 1 month, and finally, now that he is on vacation. But precisely the thing is that all the topics that we have seen in the past we forgot already, and we still have a lot of topics to see that we are, if we don't catch the previous ones, we are not going to understand the next ones. So it's like we still have a month. I wanted to finish this month. I really wanted it, but we haven't finished. We need to catch things. Fortunately, we can get new strategies. The log is going to be a new strategy. If the log works, we can finish it quick. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. I get it.
So let's try to do that. Let's try to open a notebook and let's try to start using a log so you can feel progress. If I think that's the problem with the course, we have been checking new topics and new topics and new topics, but we haven't felt the progress, and that's the reason we are not using the structures. So let's start. I'm gonna complete the log for you, so you can have a manual with you, and whenever you feel you have questions, you can open this link with all the topics that you have seen.
Okay. Yes, I
Okay?
think it'll be very useful
Yeah, as a guide.
as a guy.
Okay, I'm gonna complete that. Definitely.
And this new, I think it's not necessarily a additional level, but this is a complementary level. Uh, when will it begin? Yeah, John.
Yeah, the same. It's gonna be sequential. May, June. Precisely.
Yeah, so we are talking next week, right?